Hi everyone, I hope you're doing really well today. So I'm back with another quick review of another favorite of mine from the house of Serge Lutens, and it's called A La Nuit, or At Night. So like most of the fragrances from this house, Christopher Sheldrake was the perfumer behind this. Something I have mentioned about the collaboration between Christopher Sheldrake and Serge Lutens is that I really feel that they excel in their more minimalistic type of perfumes, particularly soliflors like this one. So if you're not familiar with what a soliflor is, it is a type of fragrance category where it really hones in on one flower. So it might smell very simplistic, but in the case of a lot of the floral fragrances from this house, what they do is that they look at different aspects of that flower. Another great example of a soliflor from this house is Sa Majesté la Rose, which obviously focuses on the rose, and Un Lys, which is another white floral favorite that I have, which focuses more on the lily flower. With A La Nuit, I really think it's a beautiful representation of jasmine. There are other jasmine soliflors from other brands that I have tried out. I much prefer this one. But I have to admit that this is not necessarily an easy fragrance for me to wear all the time. And part of that is because I have close loved ones, my husband and my mother particularly, who do not like the smell of jasmine. Now, personally for me, I do like the smell of jasmine. I enjoy sipping on jasmine green tea. I love smelling the wafts of our jasmine bushes that our neighbors have when I take my walks. I especially love star jasmine. That's one of my favorite smells. And I just find that smell to be quite comforting because it reminds me of where I grew up. Jasmine is quite common to find here in California. So if you do not like the smell of jasmine, I would imagine that you might have a challenging time with this fragrance. I'm not gonna lie and say, you know, this might be one that will grow on you if you do not like how that flower smells, because this is a very indolic take on the jasmine flower. So another thing to point out with this is when I first spray it, it can be quite bitter. It almost, you know, smells like oversteeped green tea where you get all those tannins and that bite, where you kind of wish that you took out the tea bag or the tea leaves earlier. So it does get a little bit astringent at first. I don't mind it because I am used to that smell when I drink the jasmine tea, but you know, that's something to note. But after you get past that opening, it develops into the more familiar floral smell. And also something I notice when I wear it in the heat is that there is something a little bit slightly creamy. I don't want to call it lactonic or milky at all, just because I don't get a lot of that nuance when I smell the actual jasmine bushes, but there is something about this that has a bit of thickness and creaminess to it that adds this body to this. And occasionally I might get other aspects of a jasmine bush. Sometimes I get these hints of this bitter greenness, but it's not a green fragrance to me. That's not the overall vibe that I get from this. It primarily is a floral fragrance to me. And then something else I also noticed about this is that sometimes it can come off as a little bit tuberosy, which is something I sometimes get when I smell the actual jasmine flower. But I would say overall, I think this is primarily a jasmine scent. This is the type of fragrance I like to wear in the summer heat. I have worn it in the colder months, and there was one time where I wore this to, there's a service at a church I had to attend, and it was cold, and I didn't enjoy how it smelled like to me because it smelled a lot more mothball-y compared to when I wear it in the summertime. There is something about it that was more austere when I wore it in the colder months. But in the summer, I find that it is a little bit more fun to wear. There's something quite flirty about the jasmine when I wear it in the heat. But still, you know, this gives an overall sophisticated type of character. When I wear this, you know, personally to me, I think it is quite an elegant, chic, and sophisticated fragrance. And this is what I put on when I want to feel that way. It does require some confidence from me because, like I said, not a lot of people like the smell of jasmine. But I think it kind of adds that air of self-confidence when I wear this. Now, longevity and performance, this can be subjective. I personally only wear 1 to 2 sprays, no more than that. And I actually think the most optimal way to smell this is when I apply this, you know, very carefully. I think it mixes very well with the skin, and it doesn't require a lot of sprays. And if I were to spray 3 or more, I will get headaches from this. I think the projection can be quite strong. It is a room filler, at least to my husband, but I don't know if it's because he really dislikes the smell of jasmine and he could smell it right away when I wear this. But I do feel like this can perform quite well and people will smell this on you. So my favorite places to spray this on is on my chest. So 1 spray on the chest and then once behind my knees. I like to wear this, especially when I wear dresses, and I kind of like smelling the scent of this kind of rise up later in the day. Because I don't spray a lot, it doesn't last that long on me. I would say on average it probably lasts around 6 hours, but you know, that's okay. This is one that I wear for myself, and then by the time my husband gets home he can't really smell it, so he can't complain about it. So I don't have complaints about the longevity. Again, if you spray more of it, it might last a lot longer than 6 hours though. A La Nuit is still available to purchase on the official website. Something I do appreciate about Serge Lutens is that they don't discontinue most of their fragrances. But the unfortunate thing is that once they kind of retire a fragrance, they put it into a more expensive bell jar bottle or those skyscraper bottles. This happens to be sold in the bell jar bottle, which you have to pay $290 for. Luckily, I had purchased this 5 or 6 years ago from a discounter website, and I got this for less than $70. So I was very lucky to get this in the older packaging. I don't know if I'll repurchase this. It will take me a while to finish this. I mean, I've had this for a long time and I only use up that much, which compared to my other Serge Lutens fragrances, it's not a lot. And it's because I don't spray a lot of it or wear it that often. But I don't think I'll repurchase it, only because there might be some other jasmine sulfurs I want to try out. I really like Olene from Diptyque. It kind of has this green tea smell that I like, and I find that to be easier to wear or easier for others to tolerate compared to this. So I might turn to that fragrance if I ever finish this. But while I have this in my collection, it is one of my favorite soliflors from this house. I would say it ranks number 3 from Serge Lutens. So number 1 would probably be Sa Majesté la Rose. Number 2 would be Un Lys, and then this would be in number 3. But I think it's, you know, a great jasmine fragrance, and I compare so many jasmine fragrances to this. So let me know if you've tried A La Nuit from Serge Lutens and what you think about it. And I will see you next time. Bye.